All right, we have a very special guest, the CEO of GymLaunch, gymowners.com, and Prestige Labs. Is there any other one that I'm forgetting about?
That's it. That's
Okay.
enough. That's enough.
That's a
Cale,
lot.
Cale Owen. All right. So, as most of you probably know, I am in GymLaunch. I'm a member of GymLaunch. I am uh, a client of GymLaunch. I love GymLaunch's stuff. They've helped my business a ton. And Cale was nice enough to give us his time to come on our podcast. So, Cale, dude, I know how busy you are. Thank you so much. We appreciate you so much for coming on, bro.
Dude, of course. This is amazing. I'm stoked for this. By the way, for those of you listening, you can't see this. We're on Zoom. You can just kick out my recorder. I don't know why it hopped in. So
Oh, okay.
if you want to.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll kick him out. So I'll just give like a little brief, a brief introduction as to who Cale is. Other than that, you started off as a college baseball player. You played professional baseball, the minor league level with the Phillies. From there, you went and you opened a gym. The gym did not do as well as you wanted it to. You got a side hustle while your wife worked on the gym. And
We
then from there, you joined GymLaunch, crushed GymLaunch. Then from there said, I like GymLaunch a lot. I kind of want to work for GymLaunch. Then went from salesman to sales manager to general manager.
coaching manager. So I built out a coaching team. And then that was the product side and the service side. And then and then GM.
Okay. Now you got into the fitness space. How come you didn't want to do strength and conditioning?
So I got into fitness because of baseball. And I was always the smallest kid. I was always I mean, you guys have met me. I was 40 pounds lighter when I played baseball. So there's a picture of me holding the trophy in the Gulf Coast League with the Phillies. And when I weighed in that day, I was 149 pounds, and that was the last day of the season. Yeah. So I grew up the smallest kid, and I was like, I got to figure out a way to maximize my potential. And so when I was 13 years old, I went and spent a couple weeks with my uncle in what is it? Tallulah Falls, Georgia, up in the middle of nowhere. And he was an athletic director up there. His primary background was a track coach. And he used to be in New Mexico. He trained Brian Urlacher and like all these guys at University of New Mexico, all that stuff. So him and my aunt, his wife, have a deep background in strength and conditioning. She was a strength and conditioning coach at Notre Dame for their football team. She also worked with Brian Urlacher. So like all this stuff. So I go there and he's like, all right, cool. I'm going to show you how to get faster, how to get bigger, and how to maximize it. So he ran me through hell, and I hated him for easily the first 72 hours. And that was just me being weak and small and not knowing anything and young and immature. But what I realized is, everyone has untapped potential that I think, especially on the athletic side, that they can tap into, and they can win with the right instruction, the right coaching. They can truly maximize their potential on the field or the court or whatever they're doing on the sports side. That got me into it. But then I've always been more entrepreneurial, business minded. I've enjoyed the business side of things more than the actual strength and conditioning side as I got older. Now, I will say this. I went down from probably the age of 19 to 25. I was obsessed with strength and conditioning, education, learning, programming, training, making athletes better. In our first gym, we worked with a ton of athletes, professional, college, high school athletes, and I loved doing that. But I also, frankly, I wanted more money. That was it. And I was like, the vehicle for where I'm at, and at the point where my skill set was, I wasn't seeing, I was impatient too. And so when you align, if you have the right skill set and you're in the top 1% in your industry, Mike, like you are, right? And Brooker, I have no idea where you are. So I would like to assume you are if you've worked with Mike. But if you're like the top 1%, because I used to follow like guys like Eric Cressy, right? And I'm like, this guy's top 1%. And he's spent a ton of time and he's put in the work. But I'm like, in my brain, I'm like, there's probably a lot of easier ways to make more money at some point. And so I preferred that more than the actual gym space. Now I'm still very passionate about people being fit. That's the reason why I wake up every day, is to help gym owners be able to reach more people, change more lives, and also build wildly profitable gyms. But that was honestly, if we're going to just be fully transparent, I'm too greedy and I was too impatient. That's why.
Bro, I love that. It's real tough because I know a lot of strength coaches and personal trainers. They get into this because I mean, we're meatheads. We love it. We love training. We want to help people. But bro, at the end of the day, we still have our people that we need to support. Like we have our families, we have our kids. It's the people that are super important to us that matter the most. Like I love, dude, I love helping my community. I love helping my kids, all the guys in here. I love that I was able to help a kid go from undrafted to win a Super Bowl, win two Super Bowls. I love being a part of that. I love being a part of the fact like I didn't get paid to train him for the first couple of years. You know what I mean? Like I had to train him for free, well, because he was too broke. Like I love those stories. I love being a part of it. But bro, I'm 38 years old. I have two kids and I love them more than any of those motherfuckers. Like,
As you should. As you should.
Yep.
Like, that's nothing wrong with that. You should. And you've also aligned, you've taken those values and those priorities, and then you've taken action on those. I think a lot of times what I didn't do for years is I didn't take action on that. I was actually more selfish, and I went down the things that I was passionate about. And I was more passionate about trying to make it work in strength and conditioning at the time, that I actually was neglecting my family. And I was so stubborn. And in a lot of ways, that's a good thing. But at the same time, when the opportunity for me in order to provide for my family was going to take a lot longer than if I took another opportunity, I'm doing my family a disservice, a massive disservice. And again, everybody's a little bit different. I learned this when I was just out of baseball. I was working with a company with behavioral and like science and all this stuff. And we did behavioral assessments and worked with like Raytheon and all this stuff. And the guy, one of the owners, he talked about columns of genius. And he's like, everybody has a column of genius. And like, think of it as like a skill set, like something that they really are good at and love. And I realized as I got older that my column of genius is on the business side. And like, that is where I really am good. And if I can align with that, and I can make sure that I'm doing those things, it's going to set myself up and more importantly, my family up for success.
So, Cale, what in terms of that, then, what specifically within the business realm do you think is your sort of calling then?
You know what's interesting is I am pretty, I'm not going to like sit here and boast that I'm the greatest or anything like that. I've just been able to learn. I learn very, very quickly. And I have a passion for the game of business. So like I thought about, I played baseball and I think about the game and I think pretty logically, I would like to say about life, and I'm very self-aware. And I prefer to think about in the sense of what's going to set me up for the greatest amount of success. And when I look through it, I think for me, it's leadership, communication, marketing, sales. Those are going to be the things that I excel at and I'm better at. Being able to influence people. And really the hack that leads, or the driver, the engine behind all of that is just my deep desire to learn about business, learn about influence, and learn about all these things and acquire skill sets that align with that ultimate goal of being the type of person that can lead a billion-dollar company, or $500 million company, or whatever it might be, right? From the business standpoint. And so I just became obsessed with that. I took the obsession that I had with baseball from the age of 8 to 23. That's all I did. That's all I did. I was homeschooled. My entire life, first class I ever went to was freshman year in college. And I just wanted to be the starting shortstop for the New York Yankees. I saw Derek Jeter when I was 8 years old, and I was like, I want to be that guy. And that's all I did. I skipped out on summer trips. I skipped out on going to the lake with my friends. I skipped out on wakeboarding. I skipped out on skiing. I skipped out on all this stuff. You would have seen me in Connecticut when I was 14 years old, running in the snow, getting my sprints in. And I skipped out on a bunch of stuff because I was so bought into this vision. And so I gave everything away. And I was like, I'm just going to do this because I have to outwork everybody else because I didn't have the genetic ability that some people are gifted with. And I was like, okay, I know what I can control, and I'm just going to do that. And I took that approach, and then I applied it to the gym for a little bit, and I realized that the opportunity wasn't as big as if I took that same approach and took it to another opportunity. And so I think the core root of it, what I'm saying is, as I'm long-winded here, is really just comes down to my desire to just continue to learn. And I have no ego about it. Like if I suck, I'm like, cool, great. I suck now and I'm just going to learn and I can learn a new skill and then I'm just going to suck less. And then I'm going to get to the point where I just rarely suck. So
It's
So
awesome.
yeah, dude, that's why I wanted to have him on. Like it's what it takes to be the top 1% in whatever the fuck it is that we're gonna do. So
it doesn't matter.
yeah, so going back to the S&C aspect of things, I have a ton of guys that are strength conditioning coaches, not even personal trainers, that listen to this podcast, like tons and tons and tons and tons of them. And I know a lot of them are very, very unhappy. They're making 40, 50, 60,000, even guys that are making $100,000 a year. They don't know their family. They don't know their kids. They don't get to. They have to move from place to place to place to place. And in my opinion, like their best option, if they want to stay in this, is to go personal training, possibly open a gym, whatever. What advice would you have for someone that clearly has the know-how for personal training, but like just the basic, X's and O's, but they want to get out of strength conditioning? What advice would you give to them to like make that transition to start doing that?
First, figure out exactly what's the most important thing in your life. That's so broad right now. Like I say that, and a lot of people talk about that, but you really do have to figure that out. And let me give you a quick story as to an example for me. When I had the gym and we were failing, this is my second gym, we're failing. My wife is a bartender. We have a 1-year-old and she's pregnant. And I'm like, she's about to be, we were about to find out she's pregnant. So this is just before. Our 1-year-old's not sleeping. We're living in a 1-bedroom studio. The year before, combined tax returns were less than $30,000. And so I'm sitting there, I'm waking up at 4 o'clock. In fact, when my 1-year-old was born, she was born, labored, my wife labored all through the night. We almost lost her Saturday morning. So Friday, water breaks, labors all through the night, almost lose her. And I'm back in the gym on Monday because I don't have any help and I have to run the gym. Right. So I have no time to be able to spend. My wife can't walk. Like nothing's happening. Thank goodness her dad and her parents lived locally and they were able to come and help. Otherwise, I don't know what we would have done. But anyways, I have this dream of trying to make this gym work because I'm like, I think I can do this. We can make this work. I'm trying everything. And then finally, it just came to the realization. I'm like, this isn't working. And I have to figure out what do I care about the most. And I'm sitting over here and the people that I say that I love the most, I say that I love them the most. But if you looked at my calendar, my priorities, none of the things that I'm doing are actually aligning with that. And so then I had to go out and figure out, okay, if I truly say that these are the people that are most important to me, this is my priorities. Obviously, faith is number one for me. And then my family, then my actions have to align with that. So then I went out and I was like, all right, I'm going to eat it. And this was the hardest, darkest time of my life. I went and got a job with a marketing agency, a local marketing agency and design agency, because I was like, I just have to put food on the table. I have to do what it takes. And I was like, it's whatever I'm trying right now. I tried online. And that worked. I did well on online, but that just fed all the money into the gym. And I say all this right now because it was a very dark time and it was a huge ego hit. Because when you're doing all these things and your identity is wrapped up in what you do and your status as a strength and conditioning coach, maybe it's for a huge university, maybe for it's a sports team or whatever, and you have status with that, or what you think is perceived status, it can be very hard to just take a step back, look at it from an outside perspective, and realize, okay, and just go back and examine what is the most important thing. And if that's so, where should I go? And for, I think many people, and I've seen you talk about this, Mike, and I agree with you, if you want to take care of your family and they are the most important priority, but you're spending 16 hours a day away from them, then your actions don't align with that. You need to figure out another way that's going to help you spend more time with your family and create something that's sustainable, enjoyable, still aligned with your passion, still aligned with what you're interested in. But there's other ways to do it. And I do think for most people, they choose the wrong route of starting a gym instead of doing just personal training. Because you end up having more freedom or going online, right? Doing a mix of both. I think both, you can do a hybrid mix, but I think too many people, they get too many gym owners, because I made this mistake because I train people also as a personal trainer. I made the mistake of like, you know what, I'll just open a gym and now I'll make all the money. But what everyone forgets about is you also have all of the problems. So it's when you're a personal trainer, I can come and go. I can get my clients. I can fire my clients if I want to. I can go get more. And if you are really good at what you do and you have a skill set of being able to sell also create an exceptional service for people, get them incredible results, you're going to make a ton of money. Now there's cons to this, which is you're trading your time for dollars. So at some point there's going to have to be a switch. But right now, what you're facing right now, for anyone that's out there that's listening to this and you're just sick and tired of doing what you're doing, that's way better than where you are now. And that path might lead to the next thing. And I think too many times we get stuck on, no, this is what I have to do. And it's like, I want to do baseball. So that's all I did. Then I got out and I wanted to start a gym, but a gym wasn't available. So I went to work for a company that did behavioral assessments. We did disc assessments and worked with engineers at Raytheon and like C-suite people. And like, for me, I wasn't passionate about that, but you know what? It was a job. And then got a chance to start a gym, did that. Then started another gym, right? And then now I had the opportunity to work here. All these things were just little paths that led to where I'm at right now. And I've always been open to other opportunities. So first step, again, long-winded guys, I apologize. So cut me off if you're like, hey, you're talking too much. First, figure out where your priorities are, what's most valuable, and then take a step back and look at what you're doing right now, is it actually going to help you or is it going to hurt you? And then from there, take action and change your life. Change your scenario, change your situation. And sometimes it's not what you think it should be, it's what it should be. And that's like one of the most important parts.
Yeah. Yeah. And one thing I'll add to that too is I think everyone needs to be honest with how much money they actually want to make. You know, I've had this conversation with a couple of my guys too, where I asked them, I said, how much money do you want to make? And they've never thought about it before. Never thought about it. Like, well, what's the goal? Is the goal to make as much money as possible? Is the goal to make $1 million, $2 million? Because if that's the case, you're in the wrong fucking business. So like, we need to like, you know, it's, or like, you need to go about this a different way. Or is your goal to make $100,000 and to have 8 hours a day to spend with your family or 12 hours a day to spend with your family? Like, you can do that as a personal trainer. You do not need, you can make $200,000 a year as a personal trainer working in the right gym. No doubt. And you can work 6, 8 hours a day. That happens. That happens all the time. So
you might have to move. You might have to move to do that. You might have to go to a big city to be able to do that, right? But then also with that, you also have bigger costs. You have more other stuff. But you're right. It's like it's the same thing in a gym, right? I'm not going to go in. When I work out, I have goals. Right? Every single one of these athletes, if you're a strength and conditioning coach, you have goals. They have goals. You track everything. You track how they sleep. You track what they eat. You track every rep. You track you track power produced, velocity. You track all of these things. So like, why wouldn't you also have a goal for yourself and figure out what it is that you actually want, knowing that, hey, once you reach that goal, it might change. Because when I made $1 million, I realized $1 million is nothing. Like you just texted me the other day, like, congratulations also on, I'm not going to share, but like you texted me on something that you broke through on a goal, but like you probably realized this is not really what it's cracked up to be. You're like, it's really not that much. And you're like, okay, wow, now I have a new goal, but that's okay. That's also the game of life. But I agree. You gotta know what you want to make. And again, this is all coming when I talk about not starting a gym. This is all coming from the guy where my entire business is wrapped around gyms.
Yeah, so Cal, maybe you can even go into that. So you had your own gyms, they weren't doing well, and then what, you found GymLaunch online, or and then you signed up with them, similar to what Mike's done, to help fill the gym up and obviously make some more dough.
Yeah, so I was 8 weeks from shutting the doors. I sat down with Maggie, my wife, she's our basically COO in the portfolio as well. And I was like, this isn't going to work. Like, we've been struggling for roughly almost 2.5 years. And I had tried everything. I tried other coaching groups. I had tried online, which I actually met. I was on a call that Alex came on because they were friends. The two people, like Alex and the guy that ran the online program, they were friends. And Alex came on and talked about sales. And I was like, this guy knows what's up. And when the guy that was on there was like, this guy, we've got to listen to him. He's getting brick and mortar gyms. He's getting people to sign up for $500, $600, and he's getting 20, 50, 150 people to sign up in 30 days. He's like, got to listen to this guy. And I was like, okay, well, I'm a brick and mortar gym owner. So then I did my research at the time, and he had like, I don't know, 33 reviews at the time. And I thought, wow, that's a lot of proof. Well, I've got one shot and that's it. This is it. I'm going to burn the boats. I had to borrow the money to start up. It was like $1,000. Had to borrow it, started, and then made more money in 10 days using that system than I had in the previous 9 months. But the key to that was not the money. I tripled my gym and I changed more lives, and I got more people to lose more weight, get off other medicines that they had, made them feel better, and had a bigger impact in my community, because I was now armed with the right education, the right training, the right resources to go out and reach more people and change more lives. And because of that, it also made me step my game up and create a better service, which then got clients better results, which then is this beautiful flywheel that then just continued to grow. And over that time, I squeezed a lot of learning into 8 months. And my wife and I went from basically running the gym completely while I also was still working. So I still had my 9 to 5 job the entire time. We're doing this, and we scaled our gym from 33 members. And this was like it's not a CrossFit. We were a strength and conditioning facility, but we did Gen Pop. We did some athletes, but Gen Pop primarily. So we went from 33 members to 250, over 250 in 8 months. And during that time, while you're scaling, most people are like, I'm just going to focus on scaling. But during that time, we also built a team. And so we hired, trained, fired, went through all the mistakes, built out processes, SOPs, all these things. And I would have never been able to do that, obviously, without GymLaunch. Like that was the catalyst for everything, which is why I was here. And then I saw Alex post an ad saying they're hiring salespeople. And this was like March, I think, of 2018, a year after I'd started, and a little less than a year. And I was like, I reached out to him, I DM'd him on Facebook. I was like, hey, just send me your deck. I'll sell for free. You don't need to pay me a commission. I believe so much in this. Like, I'll do it. And he's like, well, I need full-time people, because he knew I was still working 9 to 5, which he kept telling me to quit, by the way, and go all in on my gym. And so I was like, well, okay, give me the particulars. What's it all about? And then I went through the interview process, got hired, and I had zero aspirations of growing in the business. Zero. I was just like, I just want to help. And then 3 months later, the director of sales came to me and was like, hey, I want you to be our sales manager. And I was like, what? I didn't know how to manage teams. So then I had to learn how to manage sales teams. And then our COO at the time came to me, and then their kind of director of R&D at the time came to me and was like, hey, we're building a coaching team because you're a gym owner, because you know the system, because you know all this stuff. We want you to come help build a coaching team. So then we built a coaching team out, did that for like almost a year, and then moved into GM role. And somehow, I joke around, last man standing, somehow sitting here in this role. So
Crazy. That's gone quick though, that process.
it was less than 4 years from salesperson to CEO.
Yeah, but I mean, Brooker, you can see what type of a person he is. So guys, I mean, this is what GymLaunch is, what, $30-40 million company, right?
Across our portfolio, we do a little over 30 a year. So the vast majority of that is GymLaunch. I call GymLaunch daddy.
So, I mean, they're doing all this. They have a million moving parts, and this guy is control of 3 different companies. One is a start-off company, like a startup am I allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, please go for it.
It's their CRM. They're creating a free CRM. Like I'm their beta tester. I'm one of their beta testers.
You're the first one, and shout out to you. Thank you, by the way, for doing this.
But again, I believe in the fucking product. Now, for everyone listening, I haven't made a fucking dime out of my picture being on the GymLaunch fucking website or whatever the hell, like, or on any of the ads. Like, I believe in the product. Like, to me,
I haven't given you a referral.
Well, no, referrals I've gotten.
Okay, I was gonna say, I was like, I don't pay you to be on there, but if you refer someone, for anyone out there that wants to know, you should do the same thing with your clients, by the way. So that's how we do reward referrals. So.
But I haven't asked for a dime to actually advertise, to be on their website, to do any of their ads or anything like that. I believe in the product. It's an awesome product. He does an awesome job. He manages. How many employees you guys have?
Right now, we just hired 2 more developers. So across the portfolio, we're at about 75.
They have 75 people. And I have conversations with Cale. I text him, or I'll DM him, or I'll Slack him, or whatever. And the guy gets back to me. Right. Like, and I can't speak for anyone else across GymLaunch or anything, but he's available. He works his ass off. He does everything. And it's like everything he does is like to the umpteenth degree. He tries to be like incredible at what he does, which is why, like, this is what attracts me to this company. Like, that, the CEO, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, maybe to me, that's,
I'm you though. In a way, that's what, like, I'm still a gym owner at heart, even though I wanted to play the game of business. My heart is still with gyms. Like, I genuinely believe that gym owners, personal trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, people that are working with individuals, whether it's athletes or just Gen Pop, you name it, you are on the front lines of changing the world. And we're going in the wrong direction. from obesity rates, everything else. And the people, everyone talks about the healthcare system, but the people that are on the front lines every day, busting their asses, trying to change the world, are gym owners, personal trainers, strength and conditioning coaches, nutritionists. These are the people that are on the front lines. And those are the people that, in my opinion, don't get enough credit. And I wake up every day trying to think of ways to help gym owners get more people into their gym so that they can transform their life, so they can change the world. And that is why I do this. That's it.
Dude, this is great. But this is the mentality that everyone needs to have. You know, like this is what it takes to go from salesperson to CEO.